Right now we're going to see what nice cars, exotic cars, weird cars, and flat out funny cars we can see on the commute home. We'll also see how many bad drivers we got going on. Oh, over there on the right I see an E93 M3 convertible with a wing. Love it. Love me some E93 action. Fun fact, for the V8 years of the M3, the designations were E90, E92, and E93. Let's see. Let me know which one is your favorite in that little poll there. But the E90 was we just saw a house that had a Tesla Model S Plaid, a Tesla Model 3, and a Tesla Model Y. That was kind of cool. The designations for back to the M3 thing. E90 was the sedan, so the 4-door V8 M3. The E92 was the coupe, and the E93 was the convertible. All very nice cars. I just saw today in one of the groups, the M Cars for Sale Facebook group that I'm in, there was an E92, so the coupe version, white with black seats with red inserts on the seats, 6-speed manual with 6,500 miles, for sale for $84 grand, which is kind of insane. That's a lot, but it is the only V8 ever. I mean, the only M3 ever with a V8, and that V8 is extremely cool, very fun to drive, and very unique car. Plus, with the manual, it's pretty amazing package. Those things sound so good. I absolutely love that generation of M3. One of my buddies in college, he bought his first car that just happened to be a white E93 M3, so the convertible, a brand new one. Got it in 2011, and I went out with him to the car dealership to buy it out in South, or maybe it was somewhere in the Bay Area. It might have been San Jose. No, not San Jose. It was above Berkeley, so maybe Danville or Pleasanton, one of those Northern Bay Area California towns. And riding back in that thing with the top down was amazing, but terrifying. He had just gotten his license, and this was the first time he was driving a car, pretty much. And yeah, it was absolutely epic. What up, Alfie Tang? What up, Nebula? Vortex? Yeah, so imagine your friend who just got his license and proceeds to buy a V8 powered M car. It was insane and pretty terrifying, but also very, very fun. I later did a cross-country road trip with that friend in a 2-door Jeep Wrangler with a manual transmission. What up, GNR Arsaka? Well, thanks for the subscribe, Alfie. Appreciate you, dude. But yeah, we did a cross-country road trip from San Francisco to Cape Cod in a 2-door Jeep Wrangler with a manual. And my friend Doug, who was also with us, it was the three of us, me, Doug, and Tim. The three of us packed into a Jeep and did a cross-country road trip. And this Jeep was a manual, and I was the only one who knew how to drive manual. Well, Doug did too, but our other friend who bought the Jeep learned manual on the drive there in a parking lot in Reno. We basically pulled over, and he's like, all right, it's my turn to learn. I'm doing this. What up? Happy early birthday, Alfie. Love it. What up, God Lover? And what's going on, St. Fayaz Khan? Yeah, so we pull into this hotel/casino parking lot in Reno, Nevada, just starting a road trip, and he wants to drive the manual, and he basically learns to drive manual with just me and Doug instructing him, pulling out of this parking lot, and learns it on the fly. It was honestly pretty impressive, quite scary. All right, bye, Alfie. Appreciate you, dude. Come back to the next one. Have a great birthday. Happy early birthday. Yeah, it was a very, very fun road trip, but having him pop off in the manual right out of this Reno hotel parking lot was absolutely hilarious. And honestly, very, it made me a hardened passenger. Like, I was able to not be afraid when riding in many other people's cars after that experience, because that was absolutely insane. And that same friend later bought a Nissan GTR, an R35 Nissan GTR, which was absolutely epic. It had, not Akrapovic exhaust, HKS exhaust, and was black. Very sick GTR. I loved that thing. And he actually let me drive it back home from dinner one night. So I got to drive this black GTR through the streets of San Francisco after getting Chinese food, and it was so awesome. If you hate on the GTR, you haven't driven one, because they honestly feel like a video game. They're extremely loud, very cool, very fun to drive, and literally the shifts are so fast. I compare them to a 458, where it almost feels like it's shifting before you've even pulled the paddle. It's insanely epic. I absolutely love the GTR, and I would totally drive an R35 GTR at some point in the future. Oh, these people in the car next to me in the Accord look like they're fighting with each other. Let's get a closer look. Oh yeah, they're not happy. They look pissed as hell. They look screaming at each other. That looks sketchy. I'm gonna try to get away from that interaction. Yeah, so he had the GTR, the M3 is the first car, and the Jeep Wrangler. He also had an Audi R8 V10. This X5 on the right here is a nice green color, by the way. Audi R8 V10 with a 6-speed gated manual transmission. It was black on red interior with black wheels and Akrapovic exhaust, and that thing was a monster. Such a rare car, such a perfect configuration. I love that thing. I want one badly. It's pretty much the formula that everyone's chasing these days. Mid-engine, manual transmission, V10, naturally aspirated. Like, that's hard to beat. That's a pretty incredible combination, to be quite honest. And if you've ever driven one of those, which I did not drive it, I just got a ride in it, unfortunately, but the ride was very cool. It's a little bit more understated than the Gallardo LP564 of that generation, but still looked absolutely epic. And the R8 from that gen just looks so good. I think this was like a 2015, 2016, or maybe 2017, something around that. Probably 2015, actually. Man, that thing was gorgeous. A 6-speed gated manual transmission is just something to behold. Absolute perfection. I love that car. Loved that car. It doesn't have it anymore. He sold it, but that would have been one to keep, because it's just hard to beat that combination. Not only manual transmission, but that incredible V10 that is shared, or either very close to or shared with the Gallardo. I think it was really close. I mean, it is very close. I don't know if they share. I think they share the same block at least, and I think it's almost a 1-for-1 transfer. But yeah, that car is so epic. I love that thing. Now I want an R8 badly. Pop off in the comments if you drive an Audi R8. I think the first generation ones are a bargain right now, quote unquote bargain. For what you get, man, what an epic car. You sure get a lot out of that. And especially the V8. I mean, the V10 is incredible, but the gated transmission, manual transmission, V8, R8 first generation, you can get those for a relative steal, I mean, compared to what you're getting from them. Hoovy just bought one, and he, as one of the most famous YouTubers and funniest YouTubers, he's bought one that has a lot of, little issues here and there, but is honestly a beast and sounds super good. He's done a few videos of how good it sounds with him and the Weezer driving it, and it sounds awesome. Like, I love that thing. I definitely want an R8 at some point in my life. Love how the poll's going. Most people are choosing the E90. Such a great car. I don't think I've ever driven in an E90, been in one. I have been in the E93, as I previously mentioned, but the E90 is an absolute weapon. Just got so tired. It's almost time to put the windows down. Let's go. Let's go. People are actually driving pretty well today, which is surprising considering on the way into work I had probably the most annoying commute ever. There were actually not the most annoying commute ever, not by a long shot, but there were just a lot of people testing my patience on the road. It was bad. There were people cutting me off. There were people tailgating hard. Mainly people cutting me off. That was the worst. I despise getting cut off. I mean, no one likes getting cut off, but you know, it's especially when you don't use a turn signal. Like, listen, I get it if you have to cut someone off, like if you make a mistake, like we all do it sometimes, but you don't use your blinker and you cut me off? Bro, that's the worst. You gotta use the blinker. And it's shocking how often people who drive BMWs don't use their blinker. It's like very, very true to the stereotype. Gorgeous day out here in Dedham. Ooh, I just saw another G37 on the other side of the road. Love it. G37s and G35s get an understandably bad rap because of how often they're kind of stolen and used for just nefarious purposes and in the middle of sideshows and stuff like that, but they really are great cars. There's a reason why they get, you know, yeeted so much. They're freaking sweet. Yes, they do sound pretty obnoxious if you straight pipe them, but you know, you can also sound really good. And in stock form, they're pretty dang fun. Pretty fun. Pretty fun. Now this is an interesting development here. This is almost never this clear driving back, which is very surprising. I'm a bit shocked, if I'm being honest. Should I follow this guy in front of me to my next great meal? Am I going to follow him and find a great next meal, or what's going to happen here? All right, here's a fun game. We're about to play a game right now. How many people from this point forward are going to cut in? Ooh, that's a nice blue S7. That looks pretty good. How many people are going to cut in either in front? Oh, there's one. I guess 3. Cut in at the very last minute. Usually it's 3 or 4 at least. So I'm excited to see how many do it. We're only at 1. We're only at 1. There's definitely going to be some more. The other day I saw like 7 people do it. So obnoxious. Oh, are we gonna be okay? Only one. That's actually shocking, to be quite honest. That never happens. There's always a litany of people cutting off people that get in at the very last second, which is just the worst. The absolute worst. Here's a little trick though. If you stay in this lane and get past a lot of the traffic here before it merges, and then merge in a reasonable time frame, obviously. You don't want to be that guy, but reasonable time frame merge. Oh, stuck behind this Impala. These things are always interesting to me. They just look like such bland, kind of weird car bodies. I don't know. I never loved them. That's a pretty high trim one, I think. The LTZ, probably at an MSRP of over 30, maybe even over 35 grand. Definitely not that expensive now, but I mean, obviously, I don't know why I'm even saying that. Acura TL up there. That's a car I used to love, especially the second gen that came in the manual. These ones look kind of wonky. That was when Acura was going through their like very strange design phase where they basically put those like chrome buck teeth grills on all their cars. One of the worst automotive design choices ever, to be quite honest. That it looked horrible. Absolutely terrible design decision. But somehow someone at Acura greenlit that, and it got put on a lot of cars, like the MDX in that generation, the TL, swaths of other ones, but obviously it didn't stick. You know, I like when car companies go through rebirths and when they change their style and, you know, try different things, especially with the grills and things like that. Like when Lexus kind of pivoted to their new grill strategy with what they're doing right now, and what they've been doing for a little bit, which is pretty cool, honestly. But I don't know. It's sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You got to take the gamble and hope that the market reacts appropriately, or hope the market reacts in a way that's good for your brand, obviously. Because if you do a whole redesign and then kind of take your brand in a different direction identity-wise, it can be a huge flop if timing isn't right, if the market doesn't like it, if it's a bad design. But then you have certain things like that are a horrible design at the time, but then are grown to be loved by the masses. You know, things like the Pontiac Aztec, for example, or the AMC Gremlin, where it's like when they come out, they aren't appreciated. The design language isn't well received by the public, but as time goes on, they're either ironically loved, or they appear in some movie or some, you know, piece of pop culture where they have a renaissance, and then folks love them. And there's ones that are just gross bad designs that will probably never be loved, like the Acuras of that generation. Whoa, this Jeep next to me has a thing on it that says Snowhound on the front fender. That's strange. Don't think that's an actual Jeep trim, but you never know. Jeep has literally dozens of different trim types and names for a lot of their cars. So knowing Jeep, it could be real. That's kind of the direction Ford went with or went in with the new Bronco, where they basically have like 8 or 9 different special editions that you can opt in for. It's like death by special edition. There's like too many of them. So then you just lose kind of the specialness of each one in a way. Whereas if you only do like 1 or 2 special editions, it's much more kind of coveted. You can't just go out and get one willy-nilly. You have to actually, be, they make them harder to get, which I personally like. I like it when there's more difficult special editions to get. Speaking of weird special editions, I saw a Call of Duty truck special edition the other day. It was one of the Chevy, I think it was a Chevy Silverado. It's called like the Black Ops package or something like that. And it's like the only changes to it are a few interior decals that are like embossed into the seats and are on various trim pieces, and then I think there's a badge in the back, and then there's like a kind of bull bar that goes on the bed of the truck next to the sides that goes up and has little like laser cut graphics in it showing like the COD logo. It was so weird, very, very weird. And I was like, wonder how much these go for. MSRP was like 70 grand, if I'm remembering correctly. Some just absurd number where it's like, what? Who is doing that and paying that much money for that? Like, what are you doing? I think it was actually on Cars and Bids, if I remember correctly. It was for sale on one of the auction websites. I don't think it sold. It says 7 on the left, looks really good. I still can't tell if it's a regular. It might just be a regular A7, but with the S badge, up badged, and a lot of different carbon, and exhaust. Yeah, that's probably just a regular A7. It's got a commercial license plate on it, which is hilarious. Oh, State Popo up there just pulled someone over. They're yanking someone. Yikes. Let's see what happens. We're moving over because you have to move over for police. Oh, he's moving up there. He's going fast. I wonder who he's pulling over, or if he's just going to the scene of an accident or something. Hopefully no one is injured, obviously. But yeah, this A7/S7, I think it is an A7. That bumper looks like it houses the A7 exhaust tips. And I don't know. Oh, no blinker. Come on. Lame. That guy is definitely an A7. An S7 driver, actually, an S7 driver might drive like that too. Who am I kidding? But now I'm really curious as to what telltale signs there are that this is an S7 or an A7. Because usually on the fake M cars, you can tell because there's not like a vent on the left side. Actually, it had S7 brakes. And the front looks like there's an intercooler in there. Tough to tell. You know what? We're gonna go with S7. We're thinking it's an S7. It's an S7, baby. And then that color was wicked nice. Oh, there's a lady next to me driving in her car alone with a mask on. That's moronic. I am one of the biggest proponents of masks. I wore them religiously throughout COVID, and I always made sure to be safe around folks, because you never know if someone has a compromised immune system and needs to be more safe. So I would always wear a mask when asked, no problem. But if you're wearing a mask in your car by yourself, like what are you doing? Is there a smell in the mask that you like? Are you burping into the mask and you like the smell of the buffalo chicken tenders you had earlier that day and then just recirculating into your mouth? Like what's the logic for doing that? I truly don't understand. I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe you don't want to take it off. Like you're too lazy to take off your mask when you get in the car, and you just like forget. Or maybe you're doing Uber or something, and you have your mask on for the passenger, and then they get out, and when they get out, you just leave the mask on. Like, maybe that lady just completed an Uber ride and hasn't taken her mask off. But regardless, so stupid. Like, what are you doing? Makes absolutely no sense. Oh, okay. Spoiler went up. Sounded good. Just had a little exhaust backfire too. That thing sounded really nice, actually. I'm starting to believe it's an actual S7. Time I twirl around the corner, whoa. That's what that dude just did. He's swerving around the corner, no blinker, just going in between lanes, in and out of lanes. Just driving like kind of a tool. Oh, got cut off. Yikes. He hit the little rumble strip on the side there. That car does look really good though. I think the S7 is one of the best shapes Audi has made in a very, very long time. See if he gets on it. Yes, he's in the breakdown lane. Hashtag let's go. Because that's legal during this time between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can and should drive in the breakdown lane. Obviously, it's kind of risky if you're driving in it like right now and you're getting off and you're not getting off the exit, because you basically reduce people's merge